Today I want to talk about whether Final Stand Remastered is actually a good game. Let's just get the answer out of the way. Yes, I think it's a good game, but it has a couple very obvious, glaring flaws that need to be addressed as soon as possible. In this video I'm going to be breaking down a lot of the mechanics surrounding the game, how the NPCs behave, and some of the game passes are just kind of overall useless or just way too nerfed, unlike the original state they were in. So let's get started with NPC behavior. How NPC behavior on release got approved whatsoever by any developer on the team is genuinely beyond me. I remember on my first day playing, I was trying to do the quest where you get an autograph signed by Krillin, and on the way there, I happened to fly past the island where Yamu and Spopovich were. They chased me all the way to the island where Roshi and Krillin are, and they killed me, and then I flew back, and they were still there. I do think there's genuinely a disconnect between either developers or beta testers and the general public here, because there's a lot of people saying that the NPCs aren't busted and that once you get to a certain point you figure out the behavior and it's so much easier. And I agree with that to a certain extent. I do think it's partially a skill issue. This is a new combat system, but some of the NPCs' behavior is just completely bullshit here, and I don't know why we're trying to excuse it. I don't know how nobody in the beta testing team or development team caught that the first enemy that you fight in the game, you know, the snake, hits like a truck. I thought I was going crazy for a moment here until Snake World actually put out a patch the day that I was working on this video, nerfing the enemy snake's damage. I'm not saying that they were like difficult to fight or anything, but they hit so hard they could kill you in like 3 or 4 shots. I don't know where the idea that, oh, NPCs can't do anything that players can't do came from, because that's just a blatant lie. They have infinite ki, they're able to block in the middle of your combos, they're able to do so much tech that players can't do. Like, I don't understand why we're trying to excuse this behavior, because it is not acceptable. It's been like half a week since the game released, so obviously a lot of this has been addressed already, and the NPCs have been nerfed, their aggressiveness has been a nerf, but it is still not the best situation right now. I think also where a lot of the difficulty comes from is the speed stat. The speed stat used to be genuinely useless in the original Final Stand, only making you go faster, but in this game it can lead to you doing more M1s within your like certain combos. It is just a very important stat to have, and right off the bat every NPC just genuinely has busted speed stats, and you have 0 stats in it. And that mostly just boils down to the fact that you didn't think speed was going to be an important stat to invest in. And I understand that, but even if you had the foresight to know that speed was an important stat, it doesn't matter because the NPCs can always react quicker than you because you are on 100+ ping at every single point in this game. The game was very poorly optimized on launch, and I think everyone agrees with that, but even now, half a week later, and there's so many more optimization updates, and obviously everything isn't going to be fixed overnight, it is still such a serious problem to be able to just, I try to M1 and it doesn't come out, and then I do it again and it comes out 3 seconds later. It makes fighting like almost every single NPC in this game borderline impossible. And it doesn't matter what server I'm connected to, I will always have at least 180 ping. But now that we've gone over how bullshit the NPCs are in this game, let's start talking about why the XP and Zenny loss system just is not good for the health of this game. When you're doing these quests, you're often dying a lot, especially if you're not in a party. Which, by the way, parties are basically not optional in this game. I don't want to hear anything about it. But when you're doing these quests, you're dying a lot of the time. And those deaths start to rack up, especially when you're trying to fight harder NPCs. By the time you actually complete the missions, you've already lost so much Zenny and XP just from trying to beat them and dying to the NPCs that a lot of the time, you're not even gaining that much XP or Zenny. Oftentimes, you're netting a loss in Zenny. And even if you do manage to level up from a quest, it's only like a level or so. And you've already gone through so much pain compared to the original Final Stand that you don't feel rewarded whatsoever. And I think that's a major problem in this game. Nothing really feels rewarding. I mean, I've gotten past level 50 so far, I just don't have enough time to put into this game, but the only time I've genuinely felt rewarded was when I've reached my first form. For somebody new playing without any support from anyone else, I don't understand how you're supposed to get through a lot of the mechanics in this game, or a lot of the bosses, when you're expected to fight NPCs that are higher level than you almost all of the time, but they are so much stronger than you, on top of being higher level than you, that it is difficult. It's too difficult, really. Overall, I think the problem in this game regarding leveling is just when you compare it to the original game. It is so much more difficult, but it feels even harder to level up. There's a level cap of 150 right now, obviously, since Namek is coming out, what is it, next month? But it still just feels way too difficult to do most things in this game. And I think that's why so many people are complaining about it and why it's pushing so many people away. Moving on, let's just talk about all the things that are in this game that Snakeworld just refuses to clarify on. I understand wanting to leave some stuff up to the people to figure out, but the potential system in this game is so convoluted, but there's no information on it whatsoever, up until recently. The Hyperbolic Time Chamber, which is now 1,000 Robux Game Pass, is almost entirely useless after the first time you use it. You can easily get like between 10 and 15 levels, but after that, all your potential is used up. What is potential? I wish I could tell you. From what I've been able to gather, it's essentially like how much you can level up from certain things in the game. I think when it comes to PvP, and the Hyperbolic Time Chamber has its own potential system. Snakeworld clarified that instead of a month for your potential to be completely like back to square one, it is now a week. Why was it at a month? You would have to not play the game for a month, or not level up, I guess I should say, for your potential to be completely back to square one. Why? It's 1,000 Robux for this Game Pass, and you can barely even use it. I understand Snakeworld doesn't want to have everyone at level 60,000 right off the bat, but this is still a Game Pass that you're paying 1,000 Robux for, and it doesn't feel like it's worth it whatsoever. You know, I've complained a lot, so why don't we talk about some of the positives surrounding this game. The game is beautiful, let's just say that first off. It keeps a lot of the charm of like classic Roblox, but it still is updated to modern Roblox graphics, and that's something I really appreciate. Snake and his development team did an amazing job on this. I think it's the most well-designed Dragon Ball game on the site. And when it comes to mechanics, it also blows a lot of games out of the water. Like, this game is so well designed, and it's clear that there was a lot of love and attention put into it, despite what I've said negatively about it. The core concept of the game still remains fun. I think leveling up is still fun in some aspects. I think it's more enjoyable than some other games like Dragon Soul, where leveling up does not have a reward whatsoever. I'm sorry, I could never get into Dragon Soul. And there's so much more stuff to do in this game than in the original. I mean, you can grow sensu beans, there's dungeons and raids and a bunch of other stuff. Like, there's world events that weren't in the original. It is really cool to see this stuff in a Dragon Ball game, and I still think this is like a definitive Dragon Ball experience, not just on Roblox, but like Dragon Ball games in general. I think that this like open world, more like MMO style is a really good fit for Dragon Ball, and Snakeworld pulls it off excellently in this game, even better than in the original. I'm not going to sit here and say that the original was better than the remaster. Remaster is leagues better. My criticism isn't out of a place of malice, but me wanting this game to be better. I think there's a lot of core concepts in this game that weren't done the best, or were just left unexplained, or just too difficult really for a lot of people to pick up and just play. It's clear this isn't just another regular bandit beater game. You have to learn technique and you have to use strategy to level up in this game, and I think that's a good thing. But overall, I don't know if the path towards it and teaching people these things was executed the best. Moving on to my suggestions for the game, and once more, keep in mind that I am not a developer. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to game design the most, but I am a player, I'm a member of the community, I've talked with a lot of people who have issues with the game, and these are just my commonly seen qualms about the game. I don't want to get attacked every single time that I get too close to an NPC on accident. I think their aggro range should be tuned down significantly. Moreover, I think that leveling up from 0 to 50 should be quicker. I understand having 50 to 100 be slower. Getting up to level 50 is like the hook of this game. Getting to go Super Saiyan for the first time should feel rewarding, so it shouldn't be an instantaneous achievement, but it still takes a really long time in this game, and I don't think that's good for the health of it. Overall, Snakeworld created a very amazing game, but there's a lot of glaring issues that need to be addressed as soon as possible. I think that Snakeworld needs to make a statement on what he is and isn't going to do regarding the game. I mean, he's publicly said that he doesn't want to change the status of you losing XP and Zenny on death, but I still think that he needs to reevaluate why people are annoyed about it. It isn't necessarily the fact that you lose it, it's just the fact that a lot of the times when you lose it, it's because of very annoying circumstances. But yeah, that's the gist of what I wanted to say. So I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. It means a lot to me. I also have a Discord server where I do raids and dungeons. So I'm just trying to keep this brief so y'all can head out. So have a good one, y'all.